Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Oh, that's awfully bright. Let's see if we can. Okay, I think I got that moved over a little bit so it's not. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Welcome to Yoga Foundations. I'm Dr. Sammy. I'm here to take you through your practice, whatever day you might be participating in this, whether it's in the evening, the middle of the afternoon, perhaps that's the first part of your day. So welcome. Yoga is one of my favorite things of all forms of practice because it's very all inclusive. And it's a great way to de-stress, whether you're, again, ending your day or starting your day. So we'll continue to practice together. Got some nice music playing here in the background, got a nice comfortable cozy setting, so hopefully you're in a place that you feel you can be minimally distracted, although as you know I've got Dr. Charming here with me, but she is currently occupied with peanut butter, so hopefully she'll be good throughout our practice. I'm going to slide back a little bit just so that I'm fully in view. Remember that, you know, we're all different, and so sometimes I will take the practice in a certain direction, and some things are not going to work for everybody, and that's okay. You just modify or perform something different that might better suit your body. I no longer participate in belly down exercises because I am expecting, so that is very uncomfortable for me right now, and deep twisting, so you might have seen me shy away from some of those postures just because I can't simply do them, but that doesn't mean that you can't do them. So if that feels right for your body, please continue to use those postures. Okay, so we're going to start in a seated position, and you can have your hands resting on top of your knees, or you can have the palms facing up, whatever feels more comfortable. And let's just start to appreciate our shoulder motion. So with keeping the spine nice and tall, let's feel the shoulders shrug all the way up to our ears and then relax them down. Let's do that a couple more times. Sometimes when we are already stuck with our shoulders raised towards our ears, we just need to finish taking through that motion and then release it all the way back down and feel all that space that we can create between the shoulders and the ears. And then just slightly squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another so that the chest pops open more, and feel a little bit of muscular activity happening between those shoulder blades. Perhaps even just moving the thumbs if the palms are up, or the pinkies if the palms are down, in a backward direction, and feeling how those blades and scapulas start to move more onto the posterior part of your spine. That's where we would like for them to sit during our seated postures. And seated postures are very challenging if your spine isn't really developed. So I always am challenged by seated postures. So the best way to get better at them is to, of course, to practice. So we'll begin here in seated, relaxing through our shoulders. Relax your eyes. Relax your mind. Take a few deep inhales through your nose, and then exhale through your mouth. Allow for just a generalized feeling of relaxation to melt over your head, over your shoulders, into your trunk, torso, hips, knees, ankles, toes. Now let's take our hands, open our gaze, hands come to heart center, and bring your chest towards those thumbs so that again we're promoting that nice tall seat. Breathing in. Breathing out. Allow the palms to rise with your next inhalation above the head. Fold the fingers together. Take the hands, clasp them around the back of the neck, and just gently create a forward fold stretch at your neck. Release the head and neck, letting the arms rise back up towards the ceiling. And just the left, we're gonna make a big circle, placing it down on the mat. Reach the right arm up so that we are allowing this arm to be like a kickstand in the back. We're gonna reach up nice and tall, push up through your chest, stretching through the front body, but also the back body because of the way that we can compress the spine. And then just allow yourself to come back up tall, slide the left hand over to the left side, and take yourself into a nice side bend stretch. Rise up nice and tall. Take that right arm, make a big circle all the way around behind you. Lift the left arm up and lean back, opening up that trunk and torso, opening up your heart. And lift that hand back up nice and tall. Slide your hand out to the side. Gonna put my hand underneath my dog or something, and then bring the left arm over towards the right side, opening up the left side body. Release the arm back alongside your hip. And then we're gonna take ourselves into a tabletop position. So we're gonna roll over to hands and knees. And here we'll take a few cat-cows, but we're gonna do so with our leg in an extended position. So let me just tuck in this shirt here. So, cat-cow, again, we're going to be inhaling, lifting through the chest and the neck, and then exhaling, rounding through the back. We're just gonna try it today by taking our left leg and extending it backward. So let's take 5 total in this position. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, rounding. You can push into the earth with the back toes, getting that calf stretch. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, rounding forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then release back to neutral tabletop. Just drop the right knee back underneath the hip and slide the left leg to the back of your mat or the floor, wherever you might be practicing today. Same sequence, 5 repetitions. Inhale, looking up towards the sky. Exhale, rounding through the back and the pelvis. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Last one. And then release the right knee back underneath the hip and pelvis. And then we're gonna take our right leg forward and we're gonna slide the left leg back. So first part of this posture is we're getting a nice hip opener and a low lunge, but I'm gonna slightly change it with this base leg, and it does depend on how well your knee bends. So this is going to be quite a deep knee bend, but we're gonna get a nice stretch through our calf muscle. So try and slide this leg back a little bit deeper. This is one of the very few times I'm giving permission for the knee to be well past the toes and ankles. So we're gonna be in a low lunge stretch, but we're also getting the back of this calf and into the foot and the plantar fascia. And so we're just gonna allow the hands to support us here, leaning into the pelvis and using the body to help hold our spine nice and tall. So reach out of the crown of the head. Breathe. A couple more cycles of breath. start to shift the weight back off of that ankle, and then we're gonna slide it out so that we come into a hamstring stretch. Except this one we're gonna take with a little bit of a twist. So if our right leg is out in front, with our left hand, we're gonna reach towards somewhere on the outer aspect of that leg. Maybe you can reach the toes, but if not, that's okay. The calf, the knee, the thigh, grab somewhere and just start to pull in that direction. You'll feel a really deep stretch along the outer hip. And excuse me, I need to see if my air is on because it feels like 100 degrees in here. Well, it's not 100, but it is 79, and normally that doesn't bother me, but pregnancy is changing a lot of things, so you've been here for a little bit longer, so we'll take one more cycle of breath. And then we'll release, coming back just neutral over that leg. We're gonna slide it back into the tabletop position and take our other leg and bring it forward. But you don't have to bring it forward too deep, because remember, we're gonna lean past that knee and maybe just slide the other leg back. So we've got both hip flexor on the right and calf on the left. Use your arms to support your trunk and torso. Find that nice deep calf stretch. Find the hip stretch. All about that multitasking. So we only have 30 minutes together, so we want to try and address as many muscle groups as possible to help make our bodies feel as open as possible. The more open our bodies feel, the more we can breathe, and the more we tap into the breath, the easier the mindfulness component and meditation of our practice comes. I was noticing more right hip flexor stretching than the left calf, so I just leaned into that foot a little bit more to help balance out the sensation. So that might be something that you choose to do, or it could be the opposite for you. Maybe the calf is really intense and you gotta lean a little bit more towards the right to help offset some of that sensation. One more nice cycle of breath here. Good, and then we're gonna push away from the floor, stretch the left leg out into a hamstring position, but take the right hand and clasp somewhere on the outside of that thigh. I'm gonna grab for my toes, and then we're just rotating slightly. It will be a very intense stretch along that outer thigh. I feel the air conditioning. Oh, it's lovely. And we'll start to release that grip, coming back to neutral, and then just sliding that leg back into tabletop. We're gonna allow ourselves to come up into downward facing dog. So flip all 10 toes underneath the body, lift up through the pelvis, and push back into downward facing dog. Start to walk the feet towards the hands, coming into a forward fold. Mine's a little wider than yours because I need some more room for my belly, but yours can be closer together if that feels good. The knees should be generously bent so that things are supported on top of the thighs. Let the upper trunk and torso just relax, and then just maybe sway your hips side to side. Start to elevate the chest so that the neck floats in line. Let the hands float up through the shins so that we have a flat back position. From here, drop your bottom, but keep your chest lifting so that we float up to a standing position nice and comfortably. Hands come above the heart, above the head, and then exhale, hands back down to heart center. and back to our hips. Let's take a nice wide stance, dialing the right toes towards the side and bending through the knee into a warrior two position for at least the lower half. Even distribution of weight through the thighs. Let's keep our left hand on the back hip, and we're going to rise the right arm straight up to begin. And so nothing's really going to happen from the waist down. We're going to keep that fixated and still. You might just find you deepen your stance as you settle into this position a little bit more. And then we're going to inhale, reaching up nice and tall. As you exhale, just let the trunk and torso back bend. This hand can stay on your hip, slide down the thigh, wherever it feels the most supportive to you. One more cycle of breath here. Release, bring the arm back down to the other side of the hip. We're going to straighten the right knee, dial the toes in, dial the left toes out so that we just change and create the same warrior two leg positioning from the other side. And then again, keeping from waist down fixed and stable, so just the upper trunk is free to move. Everything down below is really locked in place. We can place our right hand on the hip. Let's rise the left arm up straight at first. This alone may be your posture, just feeling the openness in the side body. Only if it feels comfortable should you take yourself into that slight back bend, side bend. Again, right hand can be on the hip or on the thigh, wherever it feels more supportive to you. One more cycle of breath. And release that arm back down towards your hip. Push straight out through the left knee, dial the toes in, and just continue to heel toe the feet in, so you come back to about hip width apart. And then we're going to take our warrior one leg stance by taking the left leg forward and the right leg back. So we want to have nice evenness in the hips again, so finding that neutral center. You may have to widen your stance in order to make that happen. Nice deep bend in the knees. My lines, I'm watching myself in the camera and I know I feel good, but the angle of my camera makes it look like I'm all crooked, but you do want to try and make sure you're not buckling this leg in or letting it flop out. So I do feel that I'm in correct alignment here. We're going to take our hands and interlace them behind our back, extending the elbows and opening up that chest and heart center. If it feels good here in just a neutral warrior one, you don't need to do anything else, but if you'd like to just slightly back bend, maybe taking your gaze up, that could feel good for your body too. Slowly begin to tuck the chin back down, releasing the hands back towards the hips, and we're just going to switch sides, so stepping the right leg forward and the left leg back. Again, warrior one legs with a modification to the arms, taking them behind the back, interlacing the hands, extending the chest, and allowing for perhaps a slight back bend if that feels comfortable. Release the hands, placing them back at the hips. Step the left leg back to meet the right so that we come back to the top of our mat. And now we're going to take a flexion balance pose followed by a extension balance pose. So I think we have plenty of time. Yes, we do. We have plenty of time to wrap those things up, and then we'll take ourselves back down to the mat. So if balance is really challenging for you, then just grab a wall or grab a chair or something that you want to hold on to. That's totally fine. That way you could work on other parts, but if the purpose of what you'd like to do is work on balance, then challenge yourself and don't worry about maybe where the leg is being positioned in these upcoming postures. So first we're just going to simply shift weight into our left leg to begin. Again, trying to find the evenness in the hips and pelvis, so feel that nice solid line, that horizontal line, just like a horizon or a beach line. And then we're just gonna lift the leg up off the floor. Again, if you're working on balance and this is really challenging, just stay right here. But if you want to take this a little bit deeper, bring the leg up, and we're gonna hold it towards the chest. I'm just gonna use a one-armed hold. If I use two, I'm gonna scrunch myself, but you could have two arms, or you could just rest one arm on the hip. Let's take our right toes, Charming identified where those were, and flex them up towards the ceiling. And engage that standing leg, regardless of what you're doing with the right leg, holding that nice strong balance. You can stay right here if you've chosen to lift the leg. Maybe bring the leg out to the side slightly, getting that inner thigh and groin stretch in addition to a change of your balance. And as we prepare to release, perhaps instead of using your arm to assist it down, you can release the grip and then slowly control bringing that leg back down to the floor. Let's reset with an inhale. And exhale. Shifting into the other side, we'll take the weight into the right leg now, finding the evenness in the hips. Starting with just lifting the foot off the mat or the floor. Maybe taking it a little bit wider and deeper, clasping the front of the shin and holding that leg in an upward position. Identify your left toes and flex them up towards the sky, as it will help with the upward movement of the thigh. Stay right here or choose to move the leg out to the side, taking a little bit more of a hip opener. Dr. Charming has finished her peanut butter, apparently. Yes, hi baby. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's not ideal. And then again, we're going to take ourselves back down. So I'm going to release my hand, bring the leg forward, and control it back down to the floor. Once again, inhale. Exhale. For this next posture, I'm going to turn my body to the side. This one may also require a hand on the wall or a hand on a chair, but again, if you're practicing balance, then maybe not. So I'm going to keep my left hand resting on the side of the hip. My right hand, I'm going to start to prepare by moving the shoulder outward. So my thumb is directed backward, because I'm going to be taking my ankle of the right side, but I'm going to grab it from the inside of that ankle and foot. So we're going to shift weight again into the right leg, starting to lift the, what did I say, right? We're shifting into the left leg, lifting the right leg, trying to take contact of that ankle and foot, which may or may not be possible today. A strap may help to bridge that gap. Once you have the grip, start to engage the tummy muscles so that the pelvis tilts, and then pull the thigh back in line with the other thigh. That alone should create a really nice stretch down the front of the quad. We're going to hold this posture for 3 more full cycles of breath. Very nice. Let's go ahead and release the grip and then try to take the leg back down with nice control. Very good. Reset with an inhale. Exhale. Hands to the hips. I'm going to turn to the other side. Weight is now shifted into the right leg, taking the left arm and opening that shoulder up, bending through the left knee, taking the inner ankle foot for a clasp. Okay. Start with the tummy, so engage, bringing the core into a nice engaged position, and then pull the leg back so it's in line with the rest of your thigh. You should feel a really nice quad stretch with those few details. Three more cycles of breath. releasing it back down onto the floor. Inhale the arms all the way up. This time as you exhale, bend your knees, fold forward with an open chest. Inhale, floating back up into the flat back position. As you exhale, let your hands come in contact with the mat and just step both feet back to a downward facing dog. Let's drop the knees down to the floor. Hi, baby. I know, she just wants to play. And then I'm going to take my legs and swivel them back around, coming into a seated position. And we're just going to take some moolah rolls to help further move some of our hip and pelvic muscles. So just starting to make some nice circles, feeling into the hips, rolling back, rolling forward, taking your dog's ball, throwing it to the side. Now let's go ahead and reverse directions. Hi, you need to give me a couple more minutes. Just can't seem to get a 30-minute peanut butter run. I can only get about 20 to 25. And then we're going to come back up nice and tall. Look up towards the ceiling, stretch the throat. Look down towards the floor, stretch the back of the neck. Let the right ear come over towards the right shoulder. Let the left ear come over towards the left shoulder. Look down towards the right underarm. And then look down towards the left underarm. And then release the chin back to the center of the chest and roll back up nice and tall. And now is our time to tap into our mindfulness practice. So it is your choice where you would like to practice. If you want to stay in seated, that is perfectly welcome. If you would like to lay on your back or on your stomach or your side, whatever position allows you to feel comfortable and rested. Please lay down. Lay down. Settle in wherever you've chosen to be. Take a nice long inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale again. Exhale through the mouth. Last one. Allow yourself to feel gratitude for taking time out of your day to practice yoga. Acknowledge that regardless of what the labels are of how you performed yoga, it's more about the fact that you chose time to practice. It's the journey at which we get changes in our bodies, in our minds, and in our spirit, not in necessarily the destination. Although we do aim for that destination, it's our path to get there. The experiences that we have in our class, and when we can tap into the sensations of our body that allow us to tap into the ebbs and flows of our mind. The more that we can recognize that when we are in great deal of attention on those matters, the more it becomes obvious to us throughout our life and throughout our daytime. So see if you can take a piece of the class that we performed and integrate it into your daytime, even if it's just the breath. Spend as much or as little time as you need here. Resonate on a piece of the practice, just one piece, and take it with you throughout your day. The light and honor in me respects and honors the light in all of you. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.